Unrivaled just lost 65% of their audience in 1 year, and WNBA players who were threatening to strike last month are now begging to play for their old salaries. Let me show you exactly how this empire is crumbling in real time. The numbers don't lie, and they're absolutely brutal. Unrivaled Season 2 opened on TNT to 107,000 viewers. Last year, opening night pulled 313,000. That's not a dip. That's a nosedive off a cliff. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. The only draw in women's basketball just proves she's irreplaceable.
I don't have a problem with the WNBA players asking for a raise. The WNBA is on a hot streak. I don't care about the previous 24, 25 years. As an investment, it's starting to pay off. And so this week they wore T-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, a Kelsey Plum...
Because when Caitlin Clark isn't on your screen, nobody's watching. Not Angel Reese, not Paige Beckers, not Asia Wilson, or whatever her name is this week. Unrivaled is paying Paige Beckers $348,000 to generate $17,000 viewers. Do the math on that business model. I'll wait. TNT spent millions promoting this league. Mainstream media told us women's basketball was exploding. They sold us a narrative that elite athletes deserve our attention and our money. But the audience spoke, and what they said was devastating. We don't want more women's basketball. We want less. Now let's talk about why Unrivaled was really created. On the surface, it's about giving WNBA players leverage. It's about providing them options so they can demand better contracts. Noble, right? But there's one tiny problem with that. Strategy. Your backup plan has to actually work. Unrivaled was supposed to be the ace up their sleeve during negotiations. WNBA players would walk into that boardroom knowing they had somewhere else to go. They'd threaten to leave. They'd demand 30% of gross revenue. They'd stand firm because Unrivaled would catch them if they fell. Except Unrivaled isn't catching anybody. It's falling faster than they are. The collective bargaining agreement deadline was supposed to be today. Obviously, they're not meeting it. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. After months of WNBA players claiming they go strike after all that tough talk about standing firm and fighting for what they deserve, they're now considering playing under the old CBA. The same deal they called insulting, the same breadcrumbs they said weren't enough.
Should not make this Team USA team. Caitlin Clark destroys in day 2 of Team USA camp, looking like the best player.
Kind of feel like myself out there and just continue to get my lungs back, but I felt like I was moving really well. So it was.
How do you go from demanding millions to accepting pesos in less than 2 months? I'll tell you exactly how. You lose your leverage. Every time Unrivaled posts another embarrassing rating, WNBA players lose negotiating power. Every time TNT executives look at those numbers and question their investment, the player's position gets weaker. The NBA offered them 50% of net revenue. That's the money left after expenses. Sounds fair when you're a league that's been losing money for 30 years straight, right? But WNBA players rejected it. They want 30% of gross revenue. That's the total before expenses get subtracted. Under that proposal, the league would lose $700 million more than they've lost in their entire 3-decade existence. Let me break down this insanity. The league is offering them million-dollar contracts. That's literally what they originally asked for. But now, they're so entitled, so stubborn, so convinced of their own worth that they'd rather play for their old salaries than accept what they demanded in the first place. Last time I checked, the electric company doesn't accept beliefs as payment. Your landlord doesn't care about your principals when rent is due. And you know what's beautiful about all this? The market is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's telling us the truth. All those articles about women's basketball growth illusion. All those claims about new stars emerging. Fiction. The growth wasn't real. It was going from nothing to slightly more than nothing while media pretended it was a revolution. Think about what playing under the old CBA means. WNBA players could strike at any moment without notice. The league has zero incentive to speed up negotiations. Why would they? The product on the court already tarnishes their brand. Let these players show everyone how replaceable they are. Let them walk.
Jackson, who was the executive director of the WNBPA, which, by the way, you guys, I didn't realize that Terry Jackson is related to Jaren Jackson, who was an NBA player. I just found that out recently. So she's clearly been in the basketball world for a while, but she did an interview with CNBC, and I wanted to share with you guys some of her comments about the state of the current negotiations. She said, "We're a little frustrated with where we are right now, but we are holding to our principles. We're staying open to the fact that these negotiations will continue because they must. We'll be at the table for as long as they take, and we're hopeful that there's enough folks on the team side of things that will
see what happens. Here's what nobody's saying, but everyone's thinking. The only thing keeping the WNBA öğrenci NBA saves billionaire owners have been patient. They've invested millions into a league that generates nothing but losses, complaints, and problems. But that patience has limits. And with unrivaled, proving there's no alternative market. For these players, those limits are being tested. Nisa Collier can talk all she wants about sustainability. Brianna Stewart can promote unrivaled as the future. But when your opening night loses 65% of last year's already mediocre audience, the writing's on the wall. TNT can't keep throwing money at a product that can't draw flies to fresh garbage. The WNBA has one advantage over startup leagues: longevity. They've survived 30 years of losses because the NBA kept them afloat, but surviving isn't thriving. And now, with every alternative league failing, WNBA players should be grateful for what they have. Instead, they're demanding more from a system that's already giving them everything. Project Pole Sun or whatever other league tries to launch won't save them either. These investors keep making the same mistake. They think the product is good but undermarketed. They think with enough promotion and the right platform, women's basketball will find its audience. They're wrong. The audience has been offered this product repeatedly. They've rejected it every single time.